Good afternoon, and welcome to Murrieta's 29th Annual State of the City. Each year we take an opportunity to share a little bit about where we've been and where we're going. And this has been a year like no other. We've been challenged by wildfires. Yes, that was less than a year ago when our hills were burning down right up here. And dominating this year, of course, is a pandemic that continues to shutter businesses and shatter lives. I know that many of you faced hard losses, both financial and personal. The city too has struggled and will feel the impact of this year for some time. Through it all, however, we're stronger because of all of you. The city of Murrieta is truly strengthened by community. You know, when Kim first brought this to my attention in late February, I'd been on the council about 3 months. I said, well, obviously this can't be about my accomplishments, but I want to highlight and recognize the many city personnel and councils that have brought us to this point. Of course, the coronavirus hit 3 weeks later, and so our original schedule for a May event was quickly scuttled as we dealt with closures and mandates. And it became even more apparent that we needed to truly recognize the people who kept our city together the past 6 months. So this afternoon, you'll meet some new folks and probably some folks you've known for years. They've managed our staff, processed documents and plans, kept our residents safe, figured out our budget, and kept our city in business. I'd also be remiss if I didn't recognize my fellow council members. The dedication of these fine folks and their predecessors going back nearly 30 years has made it possible for us to enjoy the Murrieta we do today. So as we talk, albeit virtually this afternoon, about our accomplishments as a city, and as we look to the future, we hold a sincere recognition of our shared challenges and how we benefit every day from the resilience and fortitude that are hallmarks of this strong and connected community. Let me show you.
Welcome to the 2020 State of the City with the City of Murrieta. My name is Patrick Ellis, President and CEO of the Murrieta Wildomar Chamber of Commerce. I'm glad that you've joined us this evening. We're live from the Murrieta Innovation Center. I know this is a different format, but we're excited to have you with us. I want to thank the City of Murrieta for allowing us to do this again with them this year and host We're very excited to do this for you. One of the things I want to do is we do have sponsors. We couldn't do this without our sponsors. They were critical to making sure we were able to pull this off. So I want to thank them right now. That being the Riverside County 3rd District Supervisor, Waste Management, Abbott, Devaney Pate Morris and Cameron LLP, West Coast Exotic Cars, SRCAR, Dominigoni Barton Properties LLC, Rady Children's Health Services, Southern California Edison, Southern California Gas Company, Albert A. Webb and Associates, Altura Credit Union, Western Municipal Water District, and WRCOG. Thank you all so much. Your support means everything to us and to the city, and we appreciate you so much. So now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome Mayor Gene Wunderlich. Mayor, thank you so much for doing this with us. We're glad to have you today.
Well, thank you, Patrick. And we'd, in addition to thanking the sponsors, because we know we can't do it without our sponsors, obviously we'd like to thank the Murrieta Wildomar Chamber of Commerce as well, not only for putting this on, but for your partnership over the years, and certainly for your partnership and support of our business community as we work our way through this particular situation we find ourselves in.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. So this year's theme, Strengthened by Community. I don't think you could have picked a better theme any year, but especially this year. So tell me about the theme. Tell me what your thoughts are around Strengthened by Community.
You know, it really does boil down to community. And as you heard in the opening segment there, this presentation this evening is really to introduce you to a lot of folks, some who you may not know, some who you may have worked with over the years. But it's the folks who have kept our city running, and particularly for the last 6 or 7 months here as we've been through this. But more important than that, reaching out beyond just the city and the chamber staff, for example, into our community, because it's really all of you who have kept our city running. And, you know, you've helped, you've been supportive. It's not always been smooth. Some of you like masks, some of you don't like masks, some, you know, there's all that going on. But overall, as a community, we've come together. And I think once we're through this, we will be strengthened by community. We will come out of this stronger than we were before.
Yeah, well said. I really do appreciate that. You know, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I think the video we just watched, you know, it speaks millions about Murrieta. Yes. I know we faced quite a bit of adversity the last few months. One of the things that I wanted to highlight, though, from that was, you know, the Back to Business grant program that the city came up with, was able to get this money from the county through the CARES Act to help our businesses, our small businesses, our mom and pops that are right here in Murrieta. So at this point, you've already awarded, my understanding is 15 awards, which is basically reflecting $150,000 of direct aid to small businesses in Murrieta. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic.
It is. And we were so pleased to be able to do this. And it was really, we had some money sitting there in CDBG, some block grant funds that we were able to repurpose. And so $250,000 we were able to repurpose through the county. We came up with this Back to Business grant program. And as you said, we've handed out 15 grants so far. And I think I've been to every one of them so far. And several of the council members have been able to join me at different times. And it's just such a thrill to be able to walk into somebody's small business and present them a check for $10,000. And it's no strings attached. They can do whatever they want with it. Personnel, expansion, meeting payroll, paying the rent, whatever they need to do. We've been greeted by tears in 2 or 3 places of people who are, you know, absolutely, you know, they're down to their last hope to get through this. And this grant will make the difference in some cases between them making it and not making it. And in every case, I mean, these are our small local businesses. Yeah. There are dreams. It's their life savings that have been invested. And so anything we can do to help that. And by the way, you mentioned 15 grants so far. We've got 10 more to go, but I think we're going to be opening the process up again this coming week to solicit some new members to come in to apply for that. So that will be an opportunity. And actually, we're actively looking for a few more dollars. And every time I talk to the county, we're trying to shake them down for a few more bucks, because we'd love to be able to expand this program even more.
Yeah, and I know that's exciting news, because I know that we've talked to quite a few of those businesses and how much of an impact it has made on them and their business.
Yeah.
So, and we're happy to hear that, and we're going to help to get the word out to those who are looking for that help.
That.
So I'm excited now for the next video to learn more about what's going on in Murrieta right now.
Hi, I'm Kim Summers, City Manager for the City of Murrieta, and we're so excited to welcome you back to City Hall. While we're very eager to serve you face-to-face, we realize that for a while, it's probably going to be mask-to-mask, and things are going to look a little bit different when you visit City Hall, because we've put a number of safety modifications in place. But through it all, we continue to be here for you, our community. So while we're excited to open our doors to the public, please realize that even when our doors were closed, all of us were still here working for you. Through 2 closures and a lot of uncertainty, we've kept city services going, whether we were telecommuting from home, working at city facilities, or sometimes out in the community. We have our dedicated staff to thank for making things work, but we also need to recognize you and the resilience of our connected community, who continue to work alongside us as we have adapted and pivot to provide services safely and with the quality our residents expect and deserve. And special recognition needs to go to our City Council. They've guided us and supported us every step of the way through a year that has called on us like never before. You probably saw them out distributing senior meals, producing public service announcements, or making tough choices on the dais. They approached every challenge with you, the community, in their heart, and their actions helped keep our services going strong.
With a number of key projects in the pipeline, we needed to make sure that our staff could review plans safely and efficiently. Our contactless plan drop-off did just that by providing a secure process for developers to submit and retrieve plans without missing a beat. One of those key projects was Costco, which was recently approved by the Planning Commission. Earlier this year, we worked with the community and released a general plan update that lays the foundation for a robust medical and biotech region and clean, higher-paying jobs. And the city is currently working to bring a new permitting system online, which, in conjunction with new electronic plan review capability, will further streamline the review and permitting process. And in the next few weeks, we'll also be bringing forward a proposed ordinance to better regulate short-term rentals. To help us complete all of these things, when it became necessary, we shifted council meetings to a virtual format so we continue to make decisions transparently and in partnership with you, our community.
That's right. When City Hall closed its doors, public meetings needed to continue. We quickly transitioned to a hybrid format with multiple options for the public to watch and participate in online and by phone. At the same time, we installed an improved records and agenda management system, hosted several council workshops, and prepared for the November 3rd election, in which voters will select 2 new council members. I want to thank our amazing IT staff who worked behind the scenes to make it seamless for the rest of us.
Our IT department played a huge role in bringing virtual city council meetings to life. We found ourselves in new territory when City Hall closed. We had to adapt and open for business, just in a different way. With support from our IT team, we boosted our infrastructure so that employees could work for you, even in remote locations. And we added other methods to communicate with you, like the new chat feature on our website, and new software that allows our engineers to collaborate safely with contractors so projects can keep moving.
That was great. You know, I want to start off by, talking about senior management at the city. Kim, Stephanie, Stacy, Ivan. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better senior team, I think, at any city in the state. let alone the country.
Yeah.
I mean, we're extremely lucky.
I would put them up against anybody, and the way they've responded throughout this crisis has been nothing short of exemplary. I'll talk about, we overuse sometimes the term pivot, but obviously March 16th, I believe it was, forced us into a real hard pivot. And, all of a sudden we weren't able to work in person at the city. People couldn't show up. There were a lot of things you could not do. And yet they picked up and ran with it. And we didn't lose a minute's productivity. And Kim had a plan together. I mean, this is what you get with people who are well prepared for a lot of different contingencies. Now, obviously, this was a difficult one to prepare for.
Yeah.
But I mean, she had plans in place to have some people work at home, some people work in the shop, some people couldn't work at all. It rotated around. We brought in some new software packages that we had not planned in some cases to acquire for another year or two, but it allowed us to continue processing plans. And it was funny. People were bringing plans to the front, dropping them off in plastic bins out front. They'd sit there for 24 hours to whatever was going to happen to COVID, brought them inside, sterilized them, and then worked on them. But we've processed at the city, believe this or not, we've processed over 970 sets of plans since this started. So it's indicative of the strength of all of our personnel. But really, it comes down to, the fact that Murrieta is open for business. And we didn't stop and we didn't just pull back when this happened. We continued full speed ahead so that once we're through this, we will continue to have projects in the pipeline to produce new housing, new businesses, as well as strengthen the businesses that already exist here.
Yeah, and that's so valuable that, even with all of the, plans and building process that they were already working on with some of the projects and big projects right now, to keep moving that much along is really good. And I think some of it may have even, because of some of the software, has become even more seamless for them and more efficient, which is huge on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the city council. I know that you guys have all been out there doing some really great things. You've been out handing out, meals to seniors, helping out with CSD with some of the challenges that they're facing, but I mean, you and your colleagues have really kind of stepped up in extraordinary times.
Unprecedented times.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
And I am so proud to be affiliated with this particular council. We've worked together. We've come together to address some differences, and as a whole, we've spoken with one voice. There are no outliers out there trying to, do things other than marching forward with the city. And I think that's to the benefit of the city. We've provided direction to staff, and Kim and the rest of the staff have implemented everything beautifully, and they've gone above and beyond in a lot of cases, and bringing up issues that that we might not have been aware of, or bringing them to our attention for action. But the council has been absolutely terrific. And when we started handing out meals to the seniors, the council was all there, bundling meals and handing meals, and giving folks a smile, even though it was behind a mask. It's the chance for some of these seniors. That's the only opportunity they had to get out of the house sometimes, for a week.
Yeah.
And so just to drive through and have a friendly little conversation with somebody was, really made their day.
Yeah.
And it made our day too, to know that what we were doing as a city was appreciated and needed. And, a lot of the seniors particularly really missed the senior center, but, we were able to be there with them. And like I say, the council, I couldn't be more pleased to work with this council, because they've all been tremendous, very professional, and just a great group of colleagues.
Yeah, and that's great, because at times like this, everyone who's in the boat together, you all need to row in the same direction. So that's great to hear that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is even though we may have a mask on, if you smile, you see it in the eyes.
That's pretty much true.
So I am really excited to see what's coming in our next video.
52 parks and 15 miles of trails. Access to abundant open space and recreation lifts and strengthens our community. This year we've unveiled several new parks, including the new B Street Station, an RC race course at Mapleton, and a new dog park, to name just a few. In the next few months, we'll wrap up construction of Town Square Park Amphitheater, a project I've been personally anticipating for quite a while now.
We really are proud of our growing park system. This site will not only provide a regional arts and entertainment venue, it will anchor downtown Murrieta and provide a central gathering place for residents and visitors. While seating for 750 and overall space for more than 7,000, the state-of-the-art theater fills a regional gap and addresses a community priority.
This is a real boon for local arts, music, and theater. Imagine the possibilities. Alas, poor Ebenezer, when the clock strikes 1, the ghost of Christmas past. When the clock strikes 2, the ghost of Christmas present. When the clock strikes 3, the ghost of Christmas yet to be. I know I sure can. The time will come soon when we gather here to enjoy music and school performances, holiday events, and so much more. Parades, birthday bashes will return. You know, we're celebrating the big 3-0 next year. And you can bet we'll be ready for you.
Town Square Park is one of several deferred projects the city launched this year. While Town Square was funded with 2007 redevelopment dollars, until recently, we did not have the capacity to make it happen. The passage of the city's Measure T 1-cent sales tax has helped us to revisit projects like this one, to connect the community and to move forward on essential work that preserves infrastructure and contributes to the long-term health of our city. We completed an extensive residential pavement rehabilitation project that included approximately 50% of all residential streets. We rehabilitated California Oaks Road and launched a 2-year program to resurface major city streets, including Nutmeg Road, Hancock Avenue, and Murrieta Hot Springs Road. A residential street resurfacing program was also launched to repair streets that have deteriorated beyond a rehabilitation effort and require pavement replacements. The city submitted grants requesting $35 million in funding for Public Works' #1 priority project, the I-215 at Keller Road interchange, that will improve access to the medical corridor adjacent to Loma Linda University Medical Center, Murrieta, and the Kaiser Permanente Medical Campus. Warm Springs Parkway at Clinton Keith Road is currently under construction to provide access to several commercial developments east of the I-215, including the Costco development and other exciting stores coming soon.
Measure T has allowed us to start catching up from the past decade and begin to bring staffing and equipment back in line with population growth, which has quadrupled since we became a city in 1991. It also helped us establish a strong reserve so we are prepared for a crisis, a timely move that has helped strengthen us during crisis. Recently, the city's credit rating has been upgraded to a AA- by Standard & Poor's Global Ratings, as a result of improved credit characteristics and Murrieta demonstrating fiscal responsibilities. Measure T and decades of fiscally conservative practices have enabled Murrieta to weather the pandemic without major cuts, so we can be there to support our businesses and community.
That was great. You know, I got to start with 52 parks. I mean, that's huge.
It is.
Right? I mean, it's huge. So I think that's indicative, though, of just how much the city of Murrieta values its residents, right? Is to provide that much activity, that much open space for the residents, and to think about it from that perspective. And that's not something that just happens overnight.
No. And it has been an effort and a focus for years. And this year we managed to open some very different kinds of parks as well. There's an RC park out in Mapleton. Yeah. There's a dog park. We opened our senior park, the B Street Park down by the senior center, which has a variety of elements to it, including the city's first pickleball.
My favorite.
Everybody's excited about pickleball.
I can't wait.
And I'm ready to try it out myself. So yeah, providing parks is really, that's the strengthening the community part of the effort, because people love to go to parks to be able to get out on the weekend, to have their kids out playing or have their dog out playing, or just to sit and relax in a nice country kind of setting. And so it's a focus, and it's really indicative of kind of the personality of the city.
I would agree. So then you have Town Square Park. Finally, we've gotten this construction that's been, planned for quite a while. Obviously, that park has a soft spot in my heart. But I think we can't avoid the obvious, which is, we got to talk about this accent there, Ebenezer.
Did I mention pickleball?
Yeah, there we go.
We've got pickleball in the B Street.
I shouldn't tease. I mean, I'm first generation Irish American, and I do the worst Irish accent in the world. So
you saying that wasn't good?
Yeah.
Come on. I think I'm offended now.
Yeah,
that's all right.
All right. So I think one of the things you mentioned in there, though, that I thought was really important was, next year is the city of Murrieta's 30th birthday.
Right.
Huge accomplishment. You've got this year, you had the Great Recession, so many things that this city has had to get through. 30 years is not easy in the last 30-year time span.
Right.
But that is a credit to the city councils, current and past,
Absolutely.
as well as all of the city employees over the years.
Because we have been through some real challenges in the last 30 years. I mean, we've been through 4 years after cityhood came the first big financial meltdown. A decade ago we had another one. Things that have really impacted the city, resulting in hiring freezes or laying off people. And I remember back when, the parks were closed and the pool was closed, and maintenance of the medians was done away with, and just a lot of these things that had our guiding principles, and had our city councils and staff not been on top of this and been fiscally responsible,
right.
We'd be in a whole lot worse shape than we are right now. We're really in pretty good shape going forward. If you look at the budget and the transparency document that we've got posted online, people can really dig into that and see where the city's at fiscally. So we have come through a lot, and to be able to celebrate that next year, 30 years, is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that at the park will be extraordinary, because the structure at the park, if you haven't been by the park yet, I encourage you to just drive by and see how massive the amphitheater structure is going to be. It's absolutely beautiful. It's going to be a central focus point for our city for generations to come. There's going to be all kinds of great events there. Seating for 750 people in terraced seating, 7,000 seating overall in the entire park. So it's going to be just a crown jewel for the city of Murrieta.
Yeah, and your point on the fiscal responsibility has always been one of those main focuses from this city, which has helped us so much, especially back 10 years ago, like
Yes.
you referenced. So I think we're all extremely excited. We can't wait to be able to get together and gather again at the birthday bash next year. It'll be back at Cal Oak Sports Park. We're really excited about that. But I've got to tell you, I'm so excited for this next video.
Hello, I'm Sean Haddon, Chief of Police with Murrieta Police Department. I'm proud to lead the Murrieta Police Department, which includes 104 sworn officers and 10 new Measure T hires this year. It has been a big year. We wrapped up our first full year of the body-worn camera program with great success, and kicked off an innovative partnership with our neighbors to the east by providing dispatch services to the new Menifee Police Department. This meant hiring 12 new dispatchers and upgrading our communication center, which had the added benefit of enhancing local resources. We also implemented a county behavioral health assessment team, which pairs a police officer with a mental health clinician to provide outreach and resources to those suffering from behavioral health issues. As a city-based police department, we have built a close relationship with the community. I believe that foundation has really helped us navigate challenges, such as recent protests, with empathy and engagement. Our goal is to keep listening, keep learning, and keep growing. We want to be an example of doing it right.
Public safety is a top priority for the city of Murrieta and its residents. That commitment helped to pass Measure T last year, which is starting to help bring our department resources in line with our growing population and ensuring a strong and resilient department in the future. This year, we're adding 2 medic patrol squads, a new fire engine, new water tender, and we kicked off Pulse Point, an innovative program that notifies CPR-trained citizens when a cardiac arrest takes place nearby. And just last month, we launched our optimized 911 emergency medical dispatch system, or EMD. Our dispatchers will all be trained and certified as EMD dispatchers by nationally recognized standards. We also earned an approved ISO rating, a reflection of how well we protect our community. That can also help lower your fire insurance rates. We will always be here, ready for whatever's next. But just between us, I'm looking forward to calming down a bit, maybe even enjoying a good book.
COVID-19? No, I think I'll pass on that. Resilient. That's much better. That's much better. Hello, Elise. How are you this
Mayor,
morning?
how are you?
Great. Just returning a couple books for you. Can't tell you how much we appreciate you keeping the library open for our community.
Well, we are happy to be here and so happy that we're able to service the community with our curbside service. We've checked out 25,000 items since we closed, and we've registered 500 people with cards as well. So, and summer reading went online, fully online, and we had a lot of fun with that, take-home crafts. So we're continuing to give service to our library users.
Outstanding. Outstanding. We certainly appreciate it.
We love being here.
Can't tell you enough. You know, the community really relies on some basic services to be provided, and certainly the library is one of those for families, for children, for the vast variety of things that you provide. 25,000, that's incredible. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome. We're happy to do it for our community.
So Mayor, Murrieta Police Department, I mean, we're so proud of them. In my opinion, probably what a modern police department should probably be looked at and what, you know, others should probably model.
Absolutely agree with you. You know, that was such a point of contention years back when the city first started and everybody else was contracting with Riverside County for services, and Murrieta decided to go it on their own. And there were a lot of years when we took a lot of grief about that. I think people are re-looking at that situation now and deciding, hey, maybe they did something right. And obviously with Menifee breaking off now and starting their own police department, and our police department, because of the reputation they have and the variety of services they have and the excellent reputation they enjoy for making our city one of the safest in the country, you know, we're able to share those services with the city of Menifee, help them get started. And so, yeah, the Murrieta Police Department is a great source of pride, as it should be for all of our citizens, because they keep us safe. Like I say, one of the typically the second or third safest city in the country for a city our size, and that's really something to be proud of.
Yeah, and that, you know, that working together with Menifee on the dispatch services, I think, is huge, because it's going to be beneficial to us because we're able to now, share, like you said, some of those best practices and help our neighboring city. And in a sense, actually create cost sharings for both cities.
Absolutely.
Which is, again, goes back to the, financial responsibility on our part. And I the one part too that I loved in there was the talk about how the Murrieta Police is integrating behavioral health experts within the police department now, because that's an integral part of making sure that we're a full rounded police department and community and looking out for every part of it.
It is, and it starts at the top. And my hat's off to Chief Haddon. He's done an exceptional job in the time he's been there, as well as prior chiefs. But Chief Haddon has done just an admirable job. So it starts at the top, but it also comes down to the people you hire and how you train them. And back when this whole situation started, we were getting just inundated with emails about how the police need to do this, and you need to defund, and you need to do this, and the police need to be trained on this. And come to find out, the Murrieta Police Department is already doing a lot of those things. Yeah. We didn't have to adjust. We didn't have to pivot because we're already doing a lot of things right. Yeah. And so once again, commendations to the entire force, because they've just they've gone above and beyond as well to keep us safe through this entire, not just this episode, but our city safe over the years.
Yeah, and like you said, kudos to Chief Haddon.
Yes.
And then we have Chief Lancer now with Murrieta Fire and Rescue. He came in with Scott Ferguson. They kind of helped to kind of put that same type of mentality behind our own fire and rescue department. It's great because we've got community support with like the Murrieta Rotary Club, who helped to get Murrieta Fire up with the Pulse Point program, which mobilizes CPR trained citizens to help when there's a need. We heard about the lowering of the ISO rating, which helps all of us on our insurance policies. I mean, these are things that are tangible that our residents, are benefiting from on an everyday basis. And on top of what they do on a normal basis, right? One of the best. You had mentioned something to me yesterday that you had heard word of what we would consider new news.
Yes.
Which is the SAFER grant. Tell us about that.
Day before yesterday, Congressman Calvert called me about 10 minutes after 7 in the morning. Appreciate that. To let me know that the city had been awarded, and the fire department, fire and rescue, had been awarded what they call the SAFER grant. That's a $2 million grant, and they're extremely difficult to come by. There were about, probably it looked like 15 or so awarded in the state of California, but for lesser amounts. So the city of Murrieta was right in there, did an excellent job on their grant application. $2 million, and it can be used for anything. So one of the things, in addition to staffing and equipment and so forth, one of the things that had been delayed by the COVID budgeting situation was acquisition of a second EMT unit. We managed to get the first done with our Measure T funds, but the second was on hold. So with this new grant coming in now, we'll be able to expedite that. We'll be able to bring that second EMT unit in. And for the residents out there, if you're not aware, what the EMT units do is essentially, right now, if you have a medical call out, the fire engine responds. And we've got paramedics on there, obviously, but it takes a little time, and it's difficult in some cases to maneuver a fire engine around some places. But with the EMT units, these are smaller, more mobile units, again, equipped with paramedics on there. And so our response time to call outs will be faster. And when you've got a faster response, you get better results. And so again, this boils down to, the first things you mentioned, the ISO rating and pulse point, those are things that benefit us from a healthcare perspective. The EMT expansion benefits us from a healthcare perspective, but it also reduces cost to the city by having to, to run a fire engine out all the time. And it gets that response out there faster and better outcomes for our residents. That's extremely critical, and we're so happy to do that. Our fire department and Chief Lancer has done an exceptional job again in getting the department to where it needs to be. He knows he still has work to do. This is going to help a lot. So we thank them very much, and all of the folks over at Fire and Rescue, because we've seen them respond to house fires and explosions and traffic accidents and all manners of things, and they respond so quickly and so professionally. And a lot of times I don't think our residents see that, or they don't appreciate what all goes into that, and how diligent they are at really providing that level of protection for the residents of Murrieta.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, our citizens can get a better appreciation when we get back to our new normal. With, you know, we have a phenomenal Fire and Rescue Citizens Academy, and we have a Police Department Citizens Academy, both which are eye-opening on so many different levels.
Right.
But again, with that underlying financial responsibility, you know, I mean, that's the one current that just constantly flows, that we as residents and citizens should be very proud of our city of.
Right.
So, so with that, now I'm on the edge of my seat with excitement for this next video.
Many years ago, the Government Center and Town Square Park were designed to serve as a connected community hub, and it's wonderful to see that it's finally all coming together. Once the amphitheater is complete this winter, we'll continue looking at how the surrounding space can support our overall concept and link to our growing downtown. Murrieta is an amazing community, and downtown is just one of the growing areas where we know we're going to see some exciting momentum over the next year. Murrieta has a long list of accomplishments. Over the past year, even though the times were tough, we've still moved forward. It does not mean that the city's progress will not continue to occur. As you will see, upcoming projects will bring everything from new medical sites, residential properties, retail amenities, hospitality, new office centers, and most importantly, new job opportunities here at home. So let's take a look at what you can expect to see coming soon.
Okay, so now we're at the area of growth for Murrieta, right? So my cup of tea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk some tea. All right. So first, I want to just start off with saying, how excited and honored we at the Chamber are to work hand in hand with the city. We work on a lot of different projects. We all have the same kind of vision for the city, which is unique compared to some other cities. But being able to do things such as the job fair, go to the ICSC show with the city, obviously work, with ideas around this, the Murrieta Innovation Center, and so much more. I just want to say that is something that is really exciting to be able to continuously do on a day-to-day basis. So thank you for that opportunity.
And we appreciate it too, because obviously we have an economic development department, and they work with you very closely, I know, and it's got to be a community effort, because it's really, like anything, connected by community, strengthened by community.
Yeah.
It's what we all bring to the table. So everybody does their part, and the end result is successful for the city.
Yeah. So that was a lot of information about a lot of different companies that are either here or coming or whatever. So let me break it into kind of two parts. First part being kind of the healthcare industry, right? So we have, newly opened Encompass Healthcare, Rady Children's Health Services, the Fresenius Kidney Care, which I think it just opened right across from City Hall. And then you've got the upcoming expansion of Rancho Springs Medical Center. You've got Kaiser Permanente expansion, Loma Linda Medical Center. Murrieta just expanded their emergency department. Eventually they'll be doing more. And then we've got the excitement of the new McKenna Medical Center being constructed right now. Then on top of all of that, then you have Murrieta Genomics right here in the Innovation Center, which is a game changer on a whole different level. How important is healthcare in that industry now to Murrieta and to this entire valley?
The city determined a few years back really that we needed to be kind of a healthcare hub. For the longest time, we were kind of underserved in terms of local healthcare opportunities. People had to go to Orange County or San Diego County to get what they considered a level of care. And so the city really put a focus on healthcare acquisition, brought Loma Linda to the table. Now Kaiser's down here. We just got the news the other day of Kaiser's planned phase 2 expansion, which was initially supposed to be part of a hospital. Instead, it's going to be an ambulatory surgical center, because again, through this, they've looked at what the demand is from their members, and they said, we don't need another hospital at this point. We need to be able to get people in to do some surgery to get them back home. And so that's what they're going to be doing for their second phase now. Loma Linda, as you mentioned, Rancho Springs, big expansion in the works. Rady's Children is looking at expanding as well. So it's just very exciting. And the genomics, what a lot of this is focused on down here is not just a business incubator, but especially focused on medical sciences. And so what we're seeing is the growth that's been planned for our city now for the last 10, 15, 20 years, some of those domino pieces falling into place out here, especially along the 215 corridor, which was supposed to be our medical corridor, and it's absolutely shaping up to be that. So it's just wonderful to be able to see plans. It's like people say, you plant a seed for a tree, not to necessarily sit in the shade of that yourself, but for your kids to be able to sit in the shade of that tree. Yeah. And what we're seeing right now is the result of plans and dreams that prior city councils had, and they're coming into play right now. And it's very, very gratifying to see that happen.
Yeah. So we're kind of at just that bush stage, right? We get a little bit of shade.
Kind of a little bushy,
not quite there yet,
but it's working. It's working very successfully.
Yeah. So the other part of that was now is, kind of more on the retail side, right? Exciting stuff around, and I'd be remiss if I did not, at least whisper the name of Costco. But, exciting things like, Rival Coffee, which we love is like kind of these standalones, not a chain thing, but more of a, homegrown type thing. Sapphire Hotel and Wedding Center up by, the Super Target there. what Town Center has done, moving Burlington into, the old Toys R Us, which is going to generate more revenue for them because they can utilize the space much more effectively now. But then not just leaving that, vacant, putting in floor and decor there, and that being coming here hopefully in first quarter of 2021. And then, you have West Coast Exotic Cars, which, homegrown here on Jefferson, moving into the old Stretch Form building, going to be one of the anchors of our auto mall. Exciting, unique brands. I mean, there's a lot of really neat things happening when it comes to this. It's not just retail for retail. It's smart, it's strategic, and I think that's should be highlighted, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing about that, Patrick, is that it's not just adding the retail, but it's about jobs, and that's critical for our area. I've been making the same pitch for the last 30 years that I've been here. 62% of our people leave home every morning to drive to Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego County for work. And as many jobs as we've added even more population. So the ratio remains the same. We're still exporting 60% of our population every morning. So we need those jobs here locally. And if you look at our demographics, the level of education, the expendable income, all of the factors that corporations look at in order to determine where they want to move to, we have it right here.
Yep.
And so I think, again, as we're able to go forward and expand on that, and we talked a little bit about, the economic development and the work that you do and the work you do with us at the city, over the next few years, you hear stories about, and obviously you've been there when you go to ICSC, and 10 years ago, people used to go, we don't know where Murrieta is. And now they sit down and they go, yeah, you're on our radar. We know where you are, and we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And in fact, some of those people have already showed up here. So it's a great thing, I think, for the community and to bring in more jobs, retail, manufacturing, the healthcare field and so forth. It's just very exciting.
Yeah. That healthcare component is huge because those are good, high-paying jobs.
You bet.
When Encompass Healthcare opened, they hired on. I want to say it was 90% of those who hired on. I think around 100 employees, all based right
local.
here in our valley.
Yeah.
So that was taking basically, all those people and taking them off the road every day, which is great for us, great for families. All of those different types of things.
Plus it provides services to our local residents, so they don't have to go to out of area Orange County or someplace for those medical services. We have everything right here, and each of our hospitals has a slightly different specialty, whether it's oncology or cardiac or you name it. People can get it here now. It's just a matter of letting people know that those services are available locally. They're available from professionals. You don't have to leave home to get it.
Yeah. Kind of like American Express,
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Good. Well, Mayor Wunderlich, this is our last live segment. I want to thank everyone again for tuning in. Wanted to see, are there any, parting words that you would like to share, with everyone that's tuned in here from the Murrieta Innovation Center studios?
I will just say in closing, number one, we thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed our presentation. We hope you've seen maybe some things that you weren't aware of, some good things that are happening in our city, in spite of everything else that's happening around us. And I would just like to convey my personal thanks, certainly to our residents, to our citizens for the work that you've done over the years to make our city what it is today, as well as express my thanks to the city staff and my fellow colleagues on the city council for their trust in me and their support this year as we work through this. This has been a terrific privilege for me and a very proud moment, and to be able to represent the city during this time. I might have wished for a little easier time, quite frankly, but it's but it's been a challenge, and the city has stepped up, and I couldn't be prouder to represent our city at this particular point in time. I hope you will join me as residents of our city in showing your pride for our city as well, because there's a lot of good stuff going on, and we've got a lot to be happy about here in the city of Murrieta. So again, thank you for tuning in this evening. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank again the city of Murrieta for entrusting us to produce this. It was our pleasure to do so. I want to thank again all of our sponsors, for supporting us, for supporting our city, and helping us to strengthen our community. And now I am just ecstatic to hear our mayor close out the show. Take it away.
Well, there's tremendous momentum here in Murrieta, and as we evolve and grow, we bring with us the foundation of a strong community. The businesses that serve our daily needs, the parks, open space, and entertainment that will help us live well. The technology and healthcare resources that anchor our region and provide clean, high-paying jobs, and growing hospitality sector that helps to bring Murrieta with the world. But most importantly, we recognize our residents, the people who through their everyday actions help make this wonderful city the very best it can be. So thank you for taking your time to watch our virtual State of the City. I know we'll gather together in person again very soon. In the meantime, stay safe and God bless.